You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. And we're firstly going to be joined in the studio as part of our regular slot we do with the Swale Clinical Commissioning Group. We often have a selection of different people coming in, and we cover a different subject normally each time. And this time we're going to be talking to Mary first, and she's a nurse consultant for the End of Life Care Community Health NHS Trust. That's who we're going to be speaking to firstly. Just a little introduction, and we've got this month is Dying Matters Awareness Week. This is a serious subject. We all have to die sometimes, but no one really wants to talk about it. So that's going to be the subject we're covering. Firstly, Mary, thank you very much for joining us in the studio.
Thank you, Daniel.
Well, if we start off with our first question, and that is, why don't we want to talk about death?
Well, Daniel, it's something to be worried about. It's natural to be worried about it, but it's finally accepting the inevitable. We know that we're all going to die at some time, but actually we don't really want to think about it. We just want to get on with living. It's the last great taboo, but it's something we all need to talk about. And it's important we make decisions in advance and share those decisions, because death is all part of life.
So what sort of decisions then?
Well, I think many people would say that they've already got ideas about a funeral. They know what song they want. They might know if they want to be buried or cremated. Some people would say they want their ashes scattered across the sea or fired into space in a rocket. It helps to write things down, really, and discuss it with your family and your loved ones, just so that they know your wishes and then they can follow those for the future when the time comes. It may sound morbid talking about it, but it actually helps people come to terms with what is always going to be a sad occasion.
So, Mary, what other arrangements should we make then?
Well, for some people, death can be quite sudden. For example, people could die from having a heart attack or die in a car accident. So it's never too early to start making plans. An aunt of mine actually died quite unexpectedly, and she was a nurse, so she was very prepared and had talked to the rest of us and the family about what she wanted. She'd written down all her wishes, what she wanted for a coffin, what music she wanted. She had a will in place. She had everything sorted out. And actually, as a family, we found that very reassuring to know we were doing what she wanted. People who have long-term conditions like cancer or maybe bad lung disease can be in and out of hospital quite a lot. And it makes sense, really, for them to have those discussions with their family, and especially to think about where they want to be cared for if their condition gets worse. Because not everybody wants to die in a hospital, and many of us would prefer to die at home, or perhaps in a care home or nursing home, or perhaps in a hospice.
And we're next going to be talking to Leslie. She's the Medway Community Health and Wisdom Hospice. Firstly, thank you very much for talking to us this evening.
You're welcome.
Now, I was hoping you could let us know what is a hospice.
Well, for many people in Swale, the Wisdom Hospice is their link to palliative care services. And once they're under the care of the hospice, they have access to all the services we provide, and we hope that our support can make an enormous difference to both the patients and their families. All our services are provided free of charge. The hospice, however, is much more than just the building, and the community team, of which I'm one of them, visit patients and their families in their own home. They provide support and are able to advise on medication to ensure that a good quality of life is maintained for as long as possible. They facilitate the wishes of the patients, and they can help them to be cared for and to spend their last days in the place of their choice. This could be in their own home, a residential or nursing home, local community hospital or a hospice. They provide a link to other services such as GPs, community nurses and social services. There are also care home facilitators who visit residential and nursing homes in the area, and the hospice also provides access to physiotherapists, occupational therapists, welfare advisors and family and carer support for those who need it. There's a day centre where patients can take part in activities, therapies, social interaction with the staff, the volunteers and fellow patients, besides enjoying a day out with lunch and transport if needed provided. There's a hairdresser on site who provides a wonderful service and can really make a difference to how a patient looks and feels. We have a ward with 15 beds, 3 of which are in side rooms. Patients are admitted to the ward for symptom control or for end-of-life care. And families can access the hospice 24 hours of the day. Palliative care is not just about cancer. We see patients with many different life-limiting illnesses, including motor neurone disease, multiple sclerosis and heart failure, to name but a few.
We are at the moment during our regular slot with the Swale Clinical Commissioning Group right here at the Monday Night Community Show. We are continuing to talk to our regular visitors from the Swale Clinical Commissioning Group. Our theme this time is Dying Matters. We're talking back to Mary now, and I was wondering if you could let us know, how do you let people know what you want them to do?
Well, I think the first thing is to tell them, Daniel. You can either tell them or you can write it down in a letter. And it may be something that you want to change your mind over time. So it's quite good to keep going back and revisiting that and writing it down again, and just reminding people of what you want. You should also think about writing a will, because there can be so much misunderstanding when people have died. So it's good to get your legal information down on a document. Also, there's something called power of attorney, and this is a legal document that helps you appoint somebody to make decisions on your behalf in the future. It can be used if you become unable to make your own decisions. And there's actually 2 types of lasting power of attorney. One is for health and welfare, and the other is for property and financial affairs. And you can choose to make one or both types. You actually have to be over 18 and be of sound mind to be able to do this. And whether you have your own decisions, you need to really think about what you want to do and say, so that you get this down. So the health and welfare lasting power of attorney allows you to choose a person or more than one to make a decision about things for you, like your daily routine or your medical care, or if in the future you needed to move into a care home or have life-sustaining treatment. So that's called health and welfare lasting power of attorney. And this can be used when you're unable to make your own decisions. The other type, the property and financial affairs lasting power of attorney, lets you choose one or more people to make decisions about your money and your property for you. For example, things like paying your bills, collecting your benefits, or perhaps even selling your home. This type of lasting power of attorney can be used as soon as it's registered with your permission. So it can be quite a process and takes up to about 8 weeks to set up. You need to fill in some paperwork that you can find on the government website, and you need to register your lasting power of attorney with the Office of the Public Guardian so that they hold your documents and know exactly what you want.
We're going to be talking back to Leslie. You may remember Mary talked about power of attorney. Well, I think Leslie's now going to talk about my wishes.
I am. And what it is, there aren't that many people know about it at the moment because it is a new service to Swale. It's been in existence in Medway for quite some time and it's been very successful, so now it's moving into Swale. And it lets patients have a say in the healthcare they receive towards the end of their lives. The healthcare team, which would consist of the GP, community nurses, social care, hospice and the ambulance crew, can all access the information securely online any time of the day or night. And it'll give them information about your diagnosis, your condition and medical treatment. the type of care that you want and any religious wishes too. Your GP or other healthcare provider can put the information online for you and update it during your care, and the good thing is you can change it any time you like.
So what should people do then?
Well, Dying Matters has produced a leaflet called You Only Die Once. It lists 5 things everyone should do, and they are: Number 1, live well and die well. Make your wishes known today. Number 2, write your will. It's the only way you can be sure your wishes are carried out correctly, and it avoids leaving your family to make difficult legal decisions. Number 3 is record your funeral wishes. Have the funeral you want. Number 4, plan your care and support before you get ill. Talk to your family, healthcare workers and your GP. After a sudden stroke you may not be able to talk, so take advantage of your ability now. Number 5, tell your loved ones your wishes. Talking about dying often isn't easy, but you should share your plans, and if you've written them down, let your family know where they're kept.
Going to be speaking to Jo, and she's one of the clinical commissioning group's commissioners. So thank you very much for coming along this evening.
Thank you, Daniel.
So I was hoping you can let us know where our listeners can find out more information.
Yes, certainly. The NHS Swale Clinical Commissioning Group is holding another of their very popular Beats and Breathes events on Friday the 25th of April at the Forum Shopping Centre in Sittingbourne. This will run from 11am to 4pm. It's a public event where you can get free health check, and this includes having your height, weight, pulse and blood pressure checked and your cholesterol levels tested. There'll also be a stall with information about Dying Matters. Then on Monday the 12th of May, which is the start of Dying Matters Awareness Week, there'll be staff from Kent Community Health NHS Trust at Sheppey Community Hospital in Minster. They'll be there between 9am and 2pm and be on hand with more information for you. There's also the Dying Matters website, which is www.dyingmatters.org, or you can call Dying Matters free on 0800 021 4466. And you can always speak to your GP or your nursing staff as well.
Well, I'd like to thank you all very much for coming along and taking part in our regular slot with the Swale Clinical Commissioning Group.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So that is our regular slot with the Swale Clinical Commissioning Group. Dying Matters was the theme this time, and we'll be joined with another selection of people with a different subject theme in a few weeks' time or so, right here at the Monday Night Community Show.